Hello everyone. We're going to do a reading because of the current energies, which is kind of like, okay, what is this airy feeling, airy gap? When is the other shoe going to drop? Well, if you saw the November part 1 predictions, you might have seen that up until like this week, all right? And you might start feeling it already, but it will be more tomorrow because Sunday, a lot of people broadcast, etc. All right, people are trying to take time with their family, but I do feel that, you know, for me it's already in the evening. I'm 5 hours out of the UK time zone, and so in the US it's 5:20 a.m. or 8:20 a.m. So as you wake up, you might find, let's say if you're talking about YouTube, there's more people that are sort of putting out either resistance or, yeah, you're hearing a bit more resistance, and tomorrow it's going to increase. Basically, I'd mentioned, without kind of just general energy for the global psychic predictions, until the 11th, I felt like it's going to be like airy, time, a bit of time stalling. Was that in October or November? But the gap of like confusion, what is happening? It's a bit quiet, something's weird. You know, you can't put your finger on something until the 11th, right? And then I said about the 11th is a day where you'll see like key dates, 11th, and then we've got 15, 16. Okay, I'll include 17 in that, and then look at around 18, 19, and then the end of November something. So they're kind of the key dates that I gave. So I knew that until around the 11th. It is. Now, I am not based in the US, but I do feel like it's kind of like polarities. Like, let's say you're a Republican and you voted for Duck, right? It's kind of like, why is everything so quiet? Why did this seem to go so seamlessly, right? And in November, the part 1 predictions, I'll link it. Not many people have viewed it, and it's a shame. Not many people do view the videos, and I don't have many subscribers. 77% are not subscribed, and 23% are subscribers. But even then, the views are low. So if the views were really high and the subscribers are very, very low, then I know I've got a problem. But at the moment, it's the platform with the issues that I've mentioned. And all I've been told from the platform is to just continue and wait. But it's been a year, and I'll put screenshots on my community page. So this is where I feel we're going to see this week. You're going to see kind of like the other shoe is starting to drop, and it dropped, right? You might start to see the resistance of the blue. Now, I did mention there might be a delay in getting your outcome. And then when there was November, I said it might only be about a 3-hour delay. And I do believe that it went into the 6th of November. It wasn't going to be so much as a void that I was feeling in October time. And I think a lot of people expected, you know, protest, a fire in the street. I don't know why I'm getting fire in the streets. I don't know. Uproar, ballots set on fire, just more like anger, frustration. And it seemed to have gone a lot more seamlessly than expected. And even aftermath, it's kind of like, okay, we got what we want, but something feels a bit weird. And then, and I also mentioned this thing of, we get what we want, we're a bit shocked. We don't get what we want, we're in shock. And then some of us, we get what we want, and we realize, we start thinking, is it what we want? We get confused because we feel a bit of a gap. Like, what is happening here? And then some of us won't get what we want, but eventually you'll realize that it was for the best. what I do want to say in this moment, I've got so many notes all over the place, so I'm hopefully going to remember, is allow the universe to step in and watch the time frames as they unfold, okay? Now, in the previous readings, you'll know that I've said there's highlighted months. There's months from now until X time. That X person needs to be careful, etc., etc. So at the moment, the shoe will drop. So I don't know why I've been feeling this, but I've been feeling this energy. And so you'll have to let me know where you are. You have to let me know if it's how you feel. So watch the momentum commencing now, and watch also around the, especially around the 15, 16, and 17. But you're going to see movement. It's not going to be so quiet as it's been this kind of week, okay? Now, just before we kick off, yesterday in the reading where I said, let's see why DT won, let's see why KH lost, okay? And I'm sure, you know, some people didn't like what I said. If we think about it, DT is a strong leader. He's been in the position before. So yes, KH should be proud of herself because she didn't necessarily make it very easy from the beginning. What do I mean is some people will see that it was easy, but it wasn't in a way, because there was a load of tension on how will it work out, etc. Okay, for me it was kind of clear, but I'm not sure if people could see the clarity. The damage you're feeling is because you need to not listen to what titles you're going to see now on YouTube as, will he make it till the 21st? Spirit told me this. No, we are the power of the people, we will resist. We are doomed now. Stock up from now until the 21st of Jan, because I'm telling you, prices are going to get increased so much. I don't know what crap, I wanted to say crap you're going to hear. Why I say that, whether it happens or not, you need to. When I do my readings, I believe God is above me. So sometimes I'm like, I see things, I'm like, I psychically feel, I see it, I think, I use think. And one time someone recently said, you're just thinking. I'm not thinking, right? If I'm podcasting, if I'm thinking, I'm just going to say, yeah, this is the facts, you know, I've researched it for this doesn't, I'm very much a truth kind of person. But where was I going with this? I believe at the end of the day, God says be and it'll be, no matter what anyone says. There's some psychics that will say, yeah, I can see KH in the White House and etc. For me, in one of my readings, I said I refuse to give any side a lack of hope, right? But you might have noticed in my reads where I felt the ball was going to end up being, okay? Anyway, yesterday's reading, so yes, she should be proud of herself. Some people on the red might not like me saying this, but she was up against a leader, okay? And there was a tense kind of game, and then certain events were happening that led it to swing. You're going to see people that say, hang on a sec, how comes? So I'm given defiant things that I can see. Obviously, it might be that you see this, right? How comes this state is purely a blue state and suddenly their votes are red? It doesn't make sense. How comes I'm going to complain about the electronic online ballot numbering? How comes when I was watching the election numbers, KH or DT was, let's say DT was losing, and then suddenly he's won, okay? I go back to, I'm reminding of the media CBS psychic read I did, okay, where they changed the answer of KH. So what you can do is you can look at the various media broadcasting of the voting that was happening live. Watch if they tend to lean towards only showing you when KH wins, and then as DT is winning where you can't see it, they're focusing on something else. For example, anyway, I feel like there's gonna be a bit more resistance coming up, and people are gonna be like, oh wow, yeah, the shoe is dropping now. Now it looks normal. Now it feels a bit more normal. Well, then what happens is you kind of like, hang on a minute, how comes they're saying we cheated? That's not true, you know, and then the kind of build up comes again. Accept your win if you've won, right? There is an airy feeling. The other thing I've said, you know, watch how things pan out. Allow the person to step in, see if they make the changes, see if they make a mistake. We cannot have democratic around the world if we then don't get what we want, even on an individual basis. We don't get what we want, so we're like, we want to start a fight. That's how wars start, right? So for us to change, what has happened is what's needed to happen to either shake some people up. I mentioned, I think people at the beginning of November, or, you know, just recently in one of my readings, I said, the outcome you'll see people that might want to leave the US, okay? And maybe you've been thinking to go do a 2-year nursing stunt somewhere else, and this is kind of like, you know what, I just need to leave right now. When you come back after 2 years, you're actually shocked. You're like, wow, this is better than what I expected. Watch the team that DT builds up. Are they a team that really represent different things, like women, like environment, like other stuff that you thought would be ignored? Whether it's allowing the person to step in and give the chance, or step in and do wrong, allow it, because we don't know, okay? Now, in the reading yesterday, where I was getting is yesterday, a powerful card came up for Camel. I'm thinking to do a bit of a coded word sheet appendix for our words, because I'm going to be including, it was going to be in this read, but I think it's going to be in the next one, which will be this week, hopefully. The Whitties. If you're watching each content, you will know what I'm talking about. The Whitties. Okay, so she had the Magician, and I was like, wow, this is powerful, right? So I think she's going to be actually trying to lead like a group in a good cause, okay? There's something going on in the background with that. She's going to have ideas. It could be successful. I'm not saying that she is going to work against DT, no, but there's something in the pipeline, okay? So whether that gives you hope as a blue, all right, but there's something in the pipeline. And sometimes when you're not in a government position, I mean, I said from the beginning, I said if KH were to run for this, she would need a good 6-month coaching of how to speak before she even got on the interviews and the stage. And I didn't know she was known prior for word salading, right? As a leader, you need someone who's able to just get up straight away. But she should be proud, because she went up against a very strong contender. Maybe not quite ready, and not quite ready for various reasons. The timeline of the world needs this next 4 years. And DT, like I said, needs to be careful over the months I've stated. But watch things unravel. You might even hear that people, you know, even the blues, I'm getting these downloads, so just allow me to share them, and allow space, whether you're red, blue, purple, or even from abroad, to just listen if you want and ignore, and then see as it pans out. I understand what she was saying, what Zain was saying. So allow now the universe to step in as needed. Just allow and trust. Can you do that? It's the shake-up needed for many of us on an individual level. Like I said, democracy, we need to understand what it is before we vote for it. And I'm not saying in terms of blues, because whether we vote blue or red, we all want democracy, right? So that is just something we need to think of. Now, yesterday, we also got the Justice card. It wasn't, I don't think it was how Trump was feeling, but one of the reasons they voted, like he won. And I knew that was, I wanted to say more on it, but I just left it at the very surface level. I haven't rewatched the videos. I can't stand, you know, it's like having to hear your voice note. I can't stand doing that. So even when I'm on a live premiere, by the way, I put myself on mute. He got the Justice card. Did I pass the Justice card? And the Justice card is really saying, you know, obviously people are wanting him to brings into balance and justice. And anyone on the other side seeing this will be for him to escape, okay, his maybe criminal legal stuff. What this really tells me is that very strong cards, look, right? We've got Libra, and we've got Gemini and Mercury. Justice is about where we are and the karma we get. Now, some people, when we think of karma, they think, oh, bad karma. Oh, shit, that's why it's doomsday. No. The karma of what we need right now to learn lessons or to sow what we want. So if we've been through a hard time in certain things, it means there's a time for up, there's a balanced time needed. This is saying on a universal note, this is who needs to be in place for certain scales to balance out, and for the justice, okay, which is what you sow, you reap, right, to come forth. And I don't mean it on an individual level. What I'm trying to say is universe is saying he is in place right now because this is where we are collectively, or as the US, and who needs to be in place for whatever they do. Okay, so I just wanted to go through that. So will the other shoe drop? It certainly will. All right, the other shoe will drop. Let's look at my notes. I did want to say, you know, in the past I've thought about doing a reading on Disney. He's not happy on the way Disney is being run, and I think there's going to be a major takeover if it doesn't totally collapse. So I do have some psychic predictions, so I'll do them in separate just in case this gets too long. So we've got the energies that are setting up the stage right now, like I explained, on a worldwide, doesn't matter where you are. I do think India is trying to mimic the US on some things, and I'm not sure if that's going to work out for them. I'm not sure what it is. If you're in India, let me know, please. It's kind of like until this week where we start seeing momentum, the shoes dropping. It's the past smoke and the mirrors that maybe some of us have been feeling. There's been an intense emotions as well that we've been feeling that we thought we didn't realize why we've been feeling them. And I've said that some of it is because what we've been watching. A surprise of less trouble than it was expected. And a lot of people are worried. A lot of people are worried from outside the US. I've always got Australia as a worry as well. And some people are not even able to see what is going on right now. But a lot is to be said on how that day was handled and how people handled themselves that day. So I think that that shows a movement of us as a collective, the US citizens, the US public, how there's a change, and it's a positive, obviously, because there wasn't the massive storm. Do I think there'll be some unrest? I still do think there's, you know, this week we're going to see a bit more resistance coming in. Mainstream media, I feel, has took a step back last week, as I'm reading for this week. A lot of work for the next chapter is going to be going in, and more input from us than ever in the past that we've had to. So in voicing things we like, we don't like, even voicing things on social media, okay? Where we've been tracked, you know, on social media and other apps, etc. In some ways that's backfired on the ultimate at the end, who's tracking, and we know a lot of it is GOVs, right? And that's backfired. And can you remember when I did the reading on why is Elon revving up against Keir? And I said, this is because he can see the stats on X. He can see what people are saying on X, and he's trying to deliver that message that get a hold of stuff. Things are going in this direction. This is what I mean by sort of the ability to track, but also our voice of influence right now. I said, come together, we can change, we have the power. I do think if you've not heard of, there's probably been a minor protest in one of the states. There could be a couple of more minor protests coming up in some states as well. Like, I'm just saying the other shoe will feel like it's dropped this week. Let's just see something. So, you know, I've said about the Whitties, so yeah. So I do think that this is their energy, you know. This is stopping us feel bound to GOVs, okay? And they have a real passion for what they stand for. Now, I don't know if you're able to see all the comments, but it's the good guys, and it's also, I don't know how to say this, understand it. Some of you might know it. Subscriber Donna hit it, and the rest of the comments also added to it, right? That they're the good, look at this, this can be white, right? So with a passion, it's to help us stop restricting. So I believe they've been involved to help and had influence for people in helping people. And I'll do more of a read on that, okay? So now you'll start to feel like you can put your finger on something. But it's also, remember, now there's a lot of people that are feeling that it's truly an end for them, okay? This is saying it's an end of how we used to be, okay? It's an end of a chapter, it's an end of how we used to be. The past was where we fought against stuff. The future is where we look forward to what is coming. We welcome it. The future also involves, like I said, possibly movement. And I think this is going to tie in with another message I have. People are fed up with certain things that come with globalization. Okay, future, we're going to see more of it. The fear is that we're frightened we are going to get lied to. I mentioned it in the read yesterday. Are we going to be lied to? Is it not going to be worked out? Is the things that we're not seeing? Are we going to continue to be tracked? and we're told things, but then actually suddenly we're feeling we can trust, and you're caught up. You get caught. The blessing right now is to hold your heart space, to not close off, to be in a grounded state. The blessing here is also to receive love, give love, but don't overgive. This is our current message. It's time to turn to move the dial. It's time to receive more. Okay? Allow them to give more. We've been given, geez. Okay? It's all changing, and the past is just sticking to our thoughts, our beliefs, and that's what's causing the ideas, the ambush in the head. Like even now, if you're a blue, you're like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. Okay, we're doomed. And if you're a red, you're like, what's happening? It's too quiet. There's no fights. There's no fire. I've not been called a hole or something. There's not been an attempted so far. Even on the worldwide front, it's ongoing, but there's not been suddenly, boom, something extra. Watch this coming week. And so there's anxiety there, but there's more secrets to come out with this new chapter. There's more risk taking. Where we feel right now we are at is new, and it's and it's risk. There's a risk here. We're at risk. Can we trust it? There's more risk taking, even for those that want to try to see what they can introduce. Like I mentioned, they'll try to send trickles out to see how we respond. More secrets will be coming out. I mentioned in November, and it's still going. Even in your smaller cities, you might hear like of pedos, sex stuff coming up, trafficking, cults, stuff like that needs to come through. Now, sometimes things are not announced directly. We see them late. And I've got something to say on this in terms of Diddy. I might do it in the global psychic predictions. Don't think you're hearing everything at the correct time, okay? There's a past time in some of it. So look out this week, okay? Also, I want to say around, the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, look out for like financial movement, tech movement, and also look out for things of how we will be thinking and responding, because there'll be things that come up. So like I said, keep one eye open, but keep your heart open as well. I don't know why I've got here in my notes hydration and nervous system, and in the November I did say about the nervous system, the heart, etc. So stay hydrated. Maybe I was thirsty. I also want to say that we could be looking at let me just get, sort of more, a couple of more natural disasters that we hear of this week until like the third week of November, then sort of coming in. I'd say, finances, look at food prices and food, all right? Maybe like if you normally go shopping on whatever day the 15th is, instead of leaving it until then, maybe if you're running out of something, I'm not saying to stock up, because I appreciate some people are not able to stock up, right? Or have the monies or the financial resources, but don't wait until like the 13, 14, 15, because there is a possibility some basics that you want, that you look for, may not be there. They might just be out of stock, and it's something temporary, but it could be more, but I just don't want to go into that. I don't see a big thing. But instead of going on the 15th and you're totally out of toilet paper, let's say, you go on the 12th, or you go to Spar or your corner shop and get the toilet paper before your big grocery shop. So the essentials, basically, that's what I would do. It's just advice. There's nothing to worry about. If you feel like you've needed to take a little break, which these days have, then do that. Take that little break, chill a bit. But look out on Monday as momentum starts, you know. Just got a question from a Patreon that I'll ask. I'm going to ask it. So I get a question here is, did the Illum, you know, the triangle with the I, Illumi, Nati, take over DT, take over Duck? I don't know where this comes from, but obviously it's being said. I get here they've tried to, okay, but there's been a stop. And I've got it confirmed here. There's been a stop, and I think there's been a protection, some kind of protection on him. So I don't know what this is about, but it's a Patreon question, so I've taken it. I would watch out for people that might in the past have spoken truths. I'm so wanting to call out one psychic person. That are now falsifying drama, and people are blind to it. People like it. I don't understand, right? There could be some little bit of craziness in the weather, storms, and also looking at what has been done on the environmental front might be a bit of a focus. But look at the financial system, okay? I don't mean for this week only, but look at it as it moves, okay? There's going to be a couple of shocks and shake-ups that rumble in November, but what we're going through is like the slow unraveling, because if we're suddenly hit with the new way of working, which is going to be over the 20 years, I'll cover it in the next predictions, we will not be able to, you know, absorb it into our system. We'll not understand what's happening. It will cause a lot of what do I want to say? It will cause a lot of we won't know what we're doing, and we, you know, even our DNA and our system won't be able to handle it, okay? Like I said, there's going to be a lot of stuff about impeachments and all this kind of stuff. I also want to say is, I'll go into, but there's continued signs, okay, of the change of how tired we are with globalism, corporations, corporalism. I'll go into that in the next read so I don't make this too long. But it's definitely a shake-up time. And we need to look at the helping hands and the common goals and wants that we have. Like I mentioned, the hurricanes was a big one that definitely assisted in showing how we need to come together. And I mentioned it as one of the events, you know, and it did, right? We saw that we had to come together. Let me just see. I think I do think that we might see even UK, other countries, as we get into the 3rd of November onwards, an uptake in mental health, SUCIDAL, thoughts, the travel of abroad, but mental health is going to come in, okay? There's going to be questions of in the I don't know how this would pan out, but on the inauguration day, is it 20 or 21st? Can you just confirm that? Because I'm going to do a reading. I think it's the 20th. I think there's going to be a question, or people are going to put a message out that you can pay to switch your electrical vote. I think we need to watch that. I don't know what that, yeah, I'm getting something like that. So I don't know if that's something that's ever happened. But honestly, it's all about the timeline shift that we need right now. And if you think you're abroad and this is not important to you, it kind of is, because the US is a strong country. We are worried, but I really don't think we need to worry as much. Let me pull cards on that. Focus on your home, focus on your family, okay? Focus on the time out that you might need. There is an ending, okay? And there's an ending that we need to not be fighting each other, one another. It's not that we throw the pot, and this needs to go to leaders. We don't fight each other if we don't get the land we want, if we don't get the way we want. War is no longer the way forward, okay? We need to drink from our own cup, okay? We also need to offer that love, all right, to others. So let's look at something. Will there be any near future shenanigans? Take the bottom card. Nothing too huge, right? So I don't think it's something too huge, but we need to, there are things that are in between, but it will play out victorious for the people it needs to, right? It's harder right now for the evil, for the corruption to have the forefront, the authority to move and not be seen, okay? We can see it here. Look after your home, look after your health, look after your DNA, your diet. During this time, during this month especially, you might find that something you used to love to eat, you don't want to eat, you can't eat it. Just you're changing your nervous system. Have faith ahead that it's going to be much more of a balanced situation. The wheel will turn, okay? We are a bit guarded, this change, but have that patience to see what comes through. Okay, a lot of us are feeling isolated. I did mention about the Whitties high energy in the past readings. I'll do a separate reading to see how they are right now when I feel called. I do think, like I mentioned, there may be some military action in the back on guard. You know, I saw it outside the White House vision, and there is something around that. And what you might get is people say, oh, Joe Bloggs is working on something in the background to change things or to really expose wrong or something. It'll be from certain channels or podcasters, even political readers. I am not, so they might know more than me. Most likely, yes. But just be careful on the message that you're taking in that makes you feel a bit more hopeless and helpless. Each of the events are leading up to the way, all right? Now, there was a, can you remember? I also think with the mental health, that there'll be protocols around internet and what we watch and what we're exposed to coming up, even for children, okay? Now, can you remember, and this is a bit of a global psychic prediction, can you remember this? This is my Michael Monkey Vaughan notes that I said I've already done. Can you remember this? I hope I've not scrapped it. It was that mountain I did like that. Can you remember it? I did it in, I believe in October, and then I said in November, it's still coming to me. There it is. Sorry, I made notes around it, right? Can you see this mountain? And then I could see like a red line ray here, but this is snow, and then there's the mountain. So this popped up on my feed, and it says snow has fallen in Japan's Mount Fuji about a month later than expected, because it's apparently supposed to fall, you know, after record-breaking absence a month earlier. So I got it in October, and it's now in November, and this just popped up on my feed. And I wonder if this is it, because like there's the snow. Can you see? There's the snow. That might have been the red light. And there's the mountain. So I think this is what I was getting in October. It feels like it. So when something comes through to me, I will channel, and then if I don't feel it alleviate out of my channel, I'll mention it. I still think there's something around Native Americans and Red Indians going to come through, but for this is what I think it is. Come through in October and then in November, and this is just cropped up. Okay, so I thought I'd share that. Interesting, isn't it? So has anyone been to Japan? Well, if you enjoyed this, let's just pull a couple of these cards. I hope it's still recording. I wanted 2 cards, but I was like, if I get 3, I'm taking them. So the owl, the wise one, use our wisdom. It's time to use our wisdom. Definitely after the 14th, wisdom is needed, okay? I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. That's the journey we're on. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. Allow this universe to step in. My fearless freedom lights up the world, okay? So this is our advice right now, that we need to really, I'm getting told on the next full moon, I think it might be around the mid of November, look up at the moon and see it, because you're going to see it. There's something different. You're going to see it. If you can see it, right? Some of us are going to see something different. That's just come through from Spirit. But these are our messages. I hope you enjoyed this, everyone. Take care of yourselves and stay blessed. Bye for now.